So I'm here in St. Louis, and we're staying at a friend's house. Currently waiting for a ride back to New York. I missed my ride with Veterans for Peace today. But Vlad and I have been running all over town, following the action, trying to catch up with the action. I had a lot of technical difficulties. The rain kind of screwed with things. It screwed with my device that I'm recording on right now after I dried it out. My computer got wet, so my screen has this weird blotchy shit on it. The camera's screwed up. I'm hoping to get all that squared away before I head back to San Francisco. Today was a really powerful day in front of the Ferguson Police Department. Hundreds of demonstrators showed up and chanted in the rain, with some excellent live stream coverage this whole weekend. And there were some really neat models introduced in terms of social media, live streaming, covering events, coordinating activities, and our movements around the city. We're currently waiting for a ride back to New York. So we've got some interesting work ahead of us. I'm not sure if I'll be able to go to Washington, D.C. Some very important work came up in San Francisco, so I will be making a surprise visit by the end of the month to the homies in San Francisco. A bunch of knowledge and tools up here. I feel very impassioned about what we're doing as a movement. I feel very motivated as an individual. The people around me have shown great perseverance and strength and dedication and passion. The organizers here have kept everything really tight and orderly. There is quite a bit of anger in this community, and they've moved through their violent phase into a reflective, mellow type of phase, comparatively speaking to what was happening 6 weeks ago. Basically, St. Louis and Ferguson are being occupied by the people. It's a sort of decolonization attempt. The clergy was fantastic. There were dozens of arrests made today. Cornel West was the first one to get arrested at the police station, so it was kind of neat talking to him and being around him and hearing him speak. Last night we occupied St. Louis University at the clock tower. Hundreds of individuals, and they're still occupying the university. They're down there at Walmart right now. Walmart's significant because a young man was killed there in Ohio not too long ago. So when it comes to the police brutality and the executions of our youth, I think it's important that we pick out those consumer havens where these atrocities occur, whether it's a small liquor store on the corner or a big Walmart, that not only has the Walmart negatively impacted the community already, but the tragic occurrences that are all around us all the time in these public spaces that we seek to defend and that the state also ironically is seeking to defend. But quite often it's mostly about so-called private property and trying to usurp the commons from the people in an attempt to create more private property for portfolios. So Ferguson, I think, is growing its wings, and I think it provides a great example of community grassroots organizing and very passionate activism. It's a shame that it takes a tragedy like this ongoing crisis to bring people together. I've encountered some resistance from mainstream people. When I was buying an SD card today, for example, a woman looked at me and my gear and said, "You people are destroying Ferguson," and yada yada. Actually, not quite. I found St. Louis and Ferguson to be very clean, well-kept, friendly, tight communities. The folks out here are very aware of racism, and the white people out here are being very respectful about that awareness. And it's nice to be embraced It's nice to have people of all faiths, walks of life, skin tone, whatever, come together in moments of solidarity like this. And we put all that aside to focus on the families and the societal trauma that the police perpetrate upon us. I've had some great conversations with veterans out here. I've had a wonderful time meeting people from Oakland who are out here. I look forward to seeing you all when I get back. IVAW was out strong. Veterans for Peace was out strong. Various veterans that we were just picking up and collecting, you know, during the marches and the demonstrations were on board with standing out front, protecting the people behind us, acting as a firewall between the police and the people. So all in all, it's been a good journey. And we got soaked today. And I'm a pretty rain-proof guy, but I got soaked. Just being in that driving rain for so long, it's going to get into the breaches of your fashion security or whatever, you know, like with this jacket, which is like walking around in a sleeping bag. You know, the sleeves are exposed, so the water wicks up inside the jacket. All right. Last night we occupied a bridge. We took a bridge on our way to the university. The police tried to stop us. They couldn't. We stopped on the bridge, silent, held space, held ground. And we had some clergy go up front, and he called the district attorney and the mayor's office and said, you know, look what's going on in your city. And the police were stomping their batons on the ground, you know. Intimidation tactics. And they said, well, y'all been making a bunch of noise out there. And our people were like, actually, we're silent. It's the police that are making all that ruckus that you hear in the background. So the cops were given a stand-down order, and we were able to proceed on to our location. So we didn't take to the streets. We stayed on the sidewalk, stayed quiet, and it was powerful. When we got to the next location, that's when the party erupted. The speechifying, the snacks, the dancing, the music, the general family atmosphere that we get at events like this, moments like this. Today, in that crowd at the police station, in the driving rain, looking at my fellow veterans, you know, face to face, and seeing the cops behind them, and looking behind me and seeing the people behind me, there's a bond that's created when humans group together in solidarity and with mutual love and respect for one another, very similar to a rock concert or a sports event. For me, I hadn't felt that type of tight, militant unity, you know, quite honestly, since the Army. And it was basically like, we will not be stopped, we are kicking ass, we are acting out of love and pure intent. I mean, it was just very good and positive, and you could see the shame in those cops' faces, a lot of the cops' faces. Because remember, you know, it's the Sumbanal theory, you know, that Robert Anton Wilson coined in his book, The Illuminati Trilogy. Sumbanal, S-O-M-B-U-N-A-L-L, means some, but not all, this or that. So Sumbanal cops are murderous fucking pigs. All cops need to be screened for PTSD. There has to be a moratorium and a restriction on hiring military veterans for the police department. And the police need citizens oversight committees, which they have in some towns, and some banal towns have oversight committees. But the thing that's interesting about Missouri is that there are laws in place that prevent the indictment of the police, which means cops don't have to be put on trial or be prosecuted for any of the crimes that they commit, particularly with these murders, this excessive force. civil asset forfeiture, you know, which is basically highway robbery, or the cops can, it's like take a stop and frisk and then get robbed at the end of it, because the cops are like, hey, you got any drugs or weapons in the car? No, no. How much money you got in the car? Are you carrying any cash? Well, we'll be taking that. So that's pretty freaking bad. Not as bad as getting gunned down for buying a sandwich or stealing a Coke. Some of the videos I've seen out here, some of the stories I've seen out here have just been mind-boggling. I can't, there's not even words to describe some of the videos that I've seen relating to this area. Gunning down homeless people, mentally ill, physically challenged, people of color, homeless people. The cops out here, they act with impunity. They completely run amok, and they try to rub our faces in it. But you know, when they give us shit, we're gonna shove it right back in their faces. You know, and this community is moving through various stages of politicization and radicalization. They are able to organize and activate at a moment's notice, and they're able to retain numbers, and they're able to retain the vigor and strength and motivation of the crowd. I mean, it's been a really instructive weekend, and I look forward to talking with you all when I get back home pretty soon. So I hope you enjoy the post. Peace out.